Hi everybody, I'm going to start putting the rest of the bits and bobs on this engine. So we've got our dust cap. There's cutouts in the flywheel that correspond to these little tabs on the end, so you just line them up and give it a turn like that. And then we've got a circlip, hopefully you can see that, and we need a pair of pliers, so I'll just cut away and get the pliers and then I'll cut back in. Right, let's try again. All I've done is I've just cleaned out where the circlip goes in, so we'll put our dust cap back on again and turn it either clockwise or anti-clockwise. I always turn them clockwise, doesn't really make a difference. Put them about halfway around, and then our circlip should now fit in a little bit better than it was doing. It says with famous last words. It is tighter with the dust cap on anyway. It's just the nature of the beast, so to speak. But right, I'll just poke that back in. I'm just making sure it's in all the way around, which it is. I'd like it a little bit further in than what it is, to be honest, but that's in anyway. So I'll cut away, and the next bit's going to be we'll start on the cowlings. I might even put this cowling on. What we have got on here, we've still got our marks for top dead center, which is that mark, 17 degrees, which is that mark, and that's our mark what we timed to. That's on the previous video as well. So I can stick the cowling on here, clean it up and stick it on, and that bit's done. So I'll cut away and clean up the fan cowling. The flywheel cowling's now on. It does need a bit of a polish. Bear in mind that this isn't brand new. It's been on another scooter, and I've put all the bolts in. What I tend to do is, again, because there's no torque figures with these, just put them in and give them about 1/8 of a turn. This one here will have the earth from the frame, it goes behind the regulator, so that'll be off anyway to screw that up, but that fits like a glove. I'm going to be doing the exhaust next, so I'll cut away again and we'll cut in on that. Probably need to use a little bit of fine wet and dry on that. That's the beauty with stainless steel. You can take out any burrs and rub marks. With the wider cowlings, a lot of the people don't realise, but the back floorboards will rub. You need to just take it's like got like a V. I'll get a floorboard out in a bit and maybe another video and show you. But you just need to just take that edge off, because when the engine moves, it moves this way as well. They're only rubber mounts, and that's been touching there on a floorboard. So you just take the edge off the floorboard. On my GP, that's got stainless steel floorboard, and it was already cut away for a wider fan casing. A lot of people go for the smaller blades like I've got on here. There's nothing wrong with the bigger blades. I find the cooling's probably the best on any standard Lambretta. The GP Scooters India flywheel with the longer, it's just this, and they still fit under the panels all right. It's just this does catch on your rear running board, so bear that in mind if you haven't got the flat Innocenti type one. It's about what, 10 mil, one and a bit centimeters out further, so that lines up with that perfectly. I haven't got a problem with that, but like all Indian stuff, it's never, you know, it's never 100% finished off is what I'm trying to say. So you know, there are little bits of raised sharp metal work, and it's the nature of the beast. It's one of the reasons why I suppose some of their stuff's so cheap. But yeah, we need to get this exhaust downpipe off. I'm not spraying this exhaust downpipe because it's a total waste of time. I might even leave the exhaust that's on there, because if I paint it black and somebody wants it silver, it's probably best. I mean, it's had not a lot of use anyway, and it's just got little tiny bits of surface rust on it. But when they get burnt off, this paint burns off. You never see the silver anyway. I think the original ones used to have like a what's that, hematite or hammerite, that's it, hammerite paint on them. It'd last about 100 miles and burn off, and while the engine was just being built and running in, we used to get horrendous smells from the exhaust. But I don't know what that paint is on there. I haven't got a clue, but the only heat resistant paint I've got is black, and I'm reluctant to paint the exhaust black, to be honest with you, because that's going to be silver, the hub's going to be silver. And I've just cut away. I'm going to take these parts off, and don't forget what I was saying about the kickstart, that's not on properly yet. I will be putting that on properly. That was just showing you the limit on the kickstart, how quick it kicks in, as opposed to the GP one, which seems to take forever. I just need to put that circlip on a little bit better than that. I don't know why, but it's I don't know if I've caught it on something, but it wasn't in its place. They won't move out. That can't go off, because it will just rub on the rear hub anyway. That's one good thing with the design, Innocenti design. They do stuff like that. So I mean, the shoes won't come off anyway. But the old way, you used to have two circlips on there, one on each one, and a plate linking them. And they've got over, you know, in the later GP, just put in a spring clip in. So it just goes to show some ways how over engineered the scooters were originally. But that's on anyway, apart from I'm going to have to, you know, just take a few of the marks out of it and polish it again. It doesn't take a lot to polish them up, but I'll cut away, like I say, and we'll put the exhaust downpipe on. I've got to clean up this cowling as well. It's got 1,000,001 of my fingerprints on it already, but it's not bad, is it? I mean, it's starting to look like a completed engine now. So give us 2 minutes and I'll cut away. Bye. This is always awkward here on the bottom, simply because the exhaust now is in the way. But what I should be able to do is just move that around and use fingertips again, and once we're in line it should screw in fairly easily, or maybe not. Again, by all means, use the screwdriver to tighten them up. I mean, our exhaust now is on the downpipe. I'm just looking for the bolt that goes for the head, which is there. Again, like all engine stuff, it's a push to get it on, but it does go on. Be too tight down there at the moment. I just need to move it slightly over to the left as we're looking for. Yeah, it's spot on now. What you don't want to do is put these in cross-threaded. There we go. Should screw in nice and easy like I'm doing there. And just, again, I'll just use a spanner. what I just need to do is clean up this. I'll polish both cowlings in a bit. I'm just going to put the exhaust box on. Like I say, I've been toying with the idea of painting it, but I think some ways the engine's not for me, where I wouldn't be bothered about a black exhaust. That's nice and tight. We'll just get a screwdriver and tighten them a bit. Because I've got an 8 on the table, I shall use this. 8 because it's quicker. And again, when you get these tightened, an 1/8 of an inch of a turn, not an 1/8 of an inch. When it goes tight, don't go too mad on it. I'm just doing the top one now. And if you noticed, I'm only using a small ratchet for the exhaust because it's dead easy to over tighten them nuts on the bottom and shear them. They only need to be, you know, again like these, tight, and maybe a 1/4 tighter. That's perfect now. That's on. So we've got our cowling on, spark plug, whatever I've done with that now. There. Make sure it's clean. Put her back in. I'm not going to tighten the spark plug in at the moment because when I come to kick it over, I'm going to check the spark, and it's easier to kick over an engine without. There we go. Yeah, it's easier to kick over an engine without the spark plug being in 100%. You just got to remember that you have you know, not tightened it in, because there's nothing worse than the spark plug popping out or you're doing the threads in. See, this is where what I was saying with the previous owner of this cowling, where they've had the exhaust has just been leaking. The fan then pushes all the exhaust oil, unburnt oil and gases all the way inside this cowling, and it comes out everywhere. Everywhere the air goes, the oil will follow, because it's quite under a lot of pressure pushing it. So like I say, that's a bit of an old rag, so what do I do with the other rag? Dropped it. So I'm going to clean them up in a bit, but and obviously this cowling, but what we're going to do now is put on the actual exhaust itself. Whatever I've done with that bit. So I'll just give this a wipe down, the exhaust, and I'll cut back in about 3 or 4 minutes. Right, now we've cleaned up the downpipe. I've cleaned up the exhaust itself. I'm trying to get it without knocking the camera, but that might be a little bit mission impossible. And what we actually need is we need some gun gum, either there or inside there on the mating edge. We've got the U-clamp, so that's not actually that bad to clamp in after we've got the exhaust in position. But we've got 2 bolts or 2 nuts going on there. We've got a bolt in underneath here, which is that bracket there, and then we've got one on the end, which is the longer one, and it goes on like that. So I'm not expecting too many issues putting it on, because it's probably been on somebody else's scooter anyway, so and it's not been hammered by the looks of it. But what I'm going to do is just bring the engine literally closer, move all this stuff out of the way, because we'll end up with it all on the floor. And I was going to use Nylox on there, but I'm going to use normal stainless steel with locking washers, again stainless steel, and stainless steel flat washers to hold the main bolts in. So right, we're going to need some gun gum again, so we'll grab some of that, and this time we don't have to be that bad with it, so I'll just put a bit on there. And what we're after is a seal around here, and we can wipe that afterwards then. We need quite a bit because it does go on quite a way, and the way that they make the exhaust, it's the clamp can leak through the clamp, so you sealed it here, now it's going to be leaking from there. So it's knowing the weak points in a Lambretta exhaust basically. You're saying everywhere, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but we'll just bring the engine over to the edge, and I should be able to get the exhaust on a bit better then. Otherwise I'm going to have to tilt it, and it might still be tilted yet, but we'll bring that over here towards the end, and our exhaust now should go on. I'll put that to support it. Right, so what we'll do, we'll offer it up onto the pipe first and give it a bit of a twist. It's got to go on quite a bit yet. In fact, just get the it's actually catching on the kickstart, which I do mean to move anyway, so I'm going to undo the kickstart. Like I say, I only put that on to show people, which is a 12mm, which I'll put away, as you do. Let's get the 12mm out again. It's not even tight because I've only put it in just to demonstrate basically. I'll use the screwdriver just to wedge it out. This might actually be a bit small. It's quite tight on its spline even.